Hey guys, it's Clint from Christians Are Cool.
Hey you, did you know he's coming back?
One of the things I wanted to talk about, there are a lot of people out there, including myself, that are kind of getting tired of this, and that is just how judgmental the churches have gotten these days. And I think people have really forgotten where they come from, or maybe they're just leaning towards the judgmental side. But if you read the book of Romans, and I suggest that you do, read the book of Romans and try to read it without a preconceived notion, because the biggest problem that I see today in modern day churches is that they're already, they're reading something. If they're actually reading the whole book or the whole letter, is a whole different story. They probably aren't, but what they tend to do is stack a bunch of scriptures on top of each other, and then you come up with whatever. And it's very aggravating to me, and I've been kind of praying about this and really wanting the Lord to allow me to have a episode that I can talk about it without offending too many people. I know if you've watched any of my videos, I can offend probably anybody that watches them. And it's because on one hand you've got this church, which is the modern day church, okay? And it's all about church this and church that, and it's basically what I call churchianity. I didn't coin the term. I heard that from somebody. But it's an awesome term, because that's literally what it boils down to, is that it's all about this churchianity. It's not Christ driven. So whenever you see people pointing their bony finger at whatever sin they choose, and typically the sin is going to be homosexuality or something along those lines. Although that is the one sin that's kind of pointed out by Paul as being a sin against the temple, your body, and it's more destructive because it is against your body. It is not the only sin, okay? And a lot of people believe that there's this point system, okay? You get 10 points for homosexuality and only 1 point for lying, or 5 points for a little white lie, and 20 points for murder. It's ridiculous, and the Bible tells you specifically that if you've broken one of the laws in the Bible, that you've sinned, and you've broken the entire law. In other words, you're guilty. You're guilty of what? Basically, you get the death penalty, because sin will separate you from God. And Jesus himself taught everybody who reads any of the Gospels, you can see that he taught us so far under the law that there is absolutely no way except through Christ that we could be good enough to be with the Lord. And that's the point. That's the whole point. That's why the gift is free. That's why he did what he did for us. So these people are going around and they're pointing out, homosexuality is a sin. Well, guess what else is a sin? When you lie or you make people believe something that's not exactly the truth, that's a lie. Maybe you covet, and that's a sin that nobody can really quite see, right? That's internal. And the reason why the Lord put that in there is because he's telling us that I can see your heart. I can see inside of you. I know what you're thinking. I know what's coming out of that crappy heart of yours. Coveting is something that the Bible talks about as well as being one of those sins that's very harmful. Coveting your neighbor's wife, or what they have, or money, or any of that. It all leads to what? Sin. And it's all sin. It has nothing to do with it being more important than the other. So what is it that I'm trying to say? Well, it's kind of like this. If you've got a lot of weeds in the garden, or if you've got a lot of weeds in your grass, how do you get rid of them? You can go out there and pull the weeds. You can go out there and you can, put poison on the weeds. But the poison also, can mess up your grass. So what do? You water the grass and you feed the grass, okay? The people who need Jesus, not churchianity. They need Jesus. They need to walk with Jesus. They need to seek Him. They need the personal relationship with Him. Those are the people that you need to feed. That's our job as Christians, as those who follow Christ, is to show them Christ. Okay? It's not our job to point out all of their sin. Because guess what? I'm a sinner. I've done things that deserve death. According to the Bible, I've lied, cheated, all kinds of things. I've learned as a Christian how not to be that way. My desire to please God now is stronger than the sinful desire of my heart. But we all struggle with different sins. If you're looking at a fine chick and whoa, these thoughts are entering your mind, guess what? That's sin. And Jesus Himself said that you've already committed fornication. So don't go around pointing your finger at everybody's sin. Go around telling them Jesus is the way. Okay? Because I believe that the vast majority of these people, until they've had their conscience seared, know that they are sinning. I mean, when you did yours, when you do yours, when you fail miserably, do you know you failed miserably? And in this time and age, we have the Spirit of God convicting our hearts. Okay? That conviction does not come from me pointing my finger at that person and saying, you sinned. You lied, you cheated, you stealed, you've got the wrong lifestyle, whatever. That is not from me. It shouldn't be from me. It should be from the Spirit of God, as it says. He convicts man's heart. And as we preach the Lord Jesus Christ and we water that grass, in that analogy, then the grass grows and chokes out the weeds, okay? So water the Spirit of God that's working in a man's heart, in a woman's heart. Water that. Give it the time, give it the opportunity to grow and choke out the sin, because that is literally what happens. That's what happened to me when I gave my life to Christ, and you guys can look up my experience on my channel. You think the next day I was perfect and I went out and I screwed up royally after that, and I'm ashamed of some of the things that I've done. But the Lord, His grace abounds more when I sinned. And I understand those scriptures so much more now because I'm not listening to what someone in the churchianity realm is telling me to believe. I've been reading my word. Open up the Bible. Read it. If you don't have a Bible, go to blueletterbible.org. They have all the different versions. I mean, you can find one that helps you to understand it. But the bottom line is that we're out to help people give their lives to Christ. We're already, burdened enough with that, okay? But the rest of the people in churchianity are really making it difficult for those who are trying to give the real message of Christ, because they're so judgmental, and none of them are perfect. And that's what I don't get. The Bible, Jesus Himself said, take the plank out of your eye before you judge the speck in your brother's eye. And I know there are going to be people who believe that, hey, we have the right to judge. And what does Paul tell us? That we really can look at our brothers that are in the church and talk to them, and bring them about to understand that what they're doing is wrong. And if they don't listen to you, then you bring witnesses, right? Yeah, we do have that within the ecclesia, okay? but we're not supposed to be out there running around pointing everybody else's sins out when look at us. We're failing miserably if you want to look at modern day church. We are failing miserably. And I say that because, it's supposed to happen. What church age are we in? We're in the age of the modern church, which is basically Laodicean age. If you read the book of Revelation, we're in that Laodicean age, so it's going to be difficult anyway. But we can stand apart as those who follow Christ, and we're not condemning everybody around us because we're perfect. So, I just wanted to kind of get that out there. I know it's probably not the best subject for some of y'all, and it may end up bringing about some arguments or whatnot, but I'm going to tell you right now, read the book of Romans. Read it. What does it tell us? Literally, the Lord is going to put a mirror in front of you, and you're going to see what you're doing wrong. Look and judge yourself, because I guarantee you're not going to pass the righteous litmus test that you think you can pass, because without Christ, none of us, I don't care who you are, none of us would be saved. God bless all of y'all. Thank you for watching. I did start a group on USA.life called Christians Are Cool. If you want to join, I'm going to put a link in the description. USA.life is a little bit more, freedom oriented. It's just like Facebook. I really like it. I hope everybody can just swap over, because, there's not all this blacklisting and all that kind of stuff going on. And I did start a group on there because it was just easier for me to do that. And I hope that you guys will join, even just to join that group, and we can have discussions. I'm literally just going to share the things that God put on my heart, and I'm going to put, my videos on there. I will continue to put videos on Facebook, and of course you can subscribe to my Christians Are Cool channel on YouTube. But I just felt like I wanted to get that out there. Hopefully it'll get out there and help others to really focus on what they need to focus on, and that is to share the gospel of Christ, especially in this time, and allow the Spirit of God to do what He's designed to do, and that is convict and grow and water the Spirit that's growing in these people who have given their lives to Christ. So God bless you all.